firing off. So your feet and your hands are working in unison. The other thing you used to say is see with your hands, think with your feet. So you're really thinking with your feet. So you're pushing off to cut off. So when we start doing these drills, it's a matter of getting used to pushing off. So the weight distribution is right where it needs to be. So if I'm right here and I'm sitting out and the guy's moving inside, okay, I'm pushing back to get him. Okay, I'm not reaching back. So there's no wasted movement. And if my right leg, my right foot is moving 4 inches or 3 inches, that's all the more that my left foot should move, okay? Because when I would get in trouble, it was 2 things. When my feet would get close together, or when my feet would get real wide apart. Now, there'll be times in the pass rush where you will take a step you don't want to step. But if you're thinking with your feet, and if you're pushing off to cut off, guys, your feet always catch up to where they need to be. You may have a bucket step, or you may have a bad step. So the guy's way out, and you're going, oh boy, I want to get out here. But you click your heels for a second. If you're used to doing the footwork drill, you're looking at down here, okay? And now you're back to where you want to be. So the weight distribution is always where it needs to be. Drills that we do on this, 2 minutes at a time to start off. Parallel stance 1, just side to side. Get used to the feel. Most guys have trouble with that feel because they're so used to doing it the opposite way. And now some guys pick it up real quick, but for some guys, so it's just get used to pushing. And also when you teach your guys to do this drill, if they're going to loaf in the drill, because it's a 2-minute long drill, gas is the leg, have them loaf in between. So the step they take, make it a quick one. The step they take. And then we go to 2 steps, so it's back and forth. So it's, you're getting your feet in the ground at the point of impact. And we do this side to side, and we do this back and forth as well. So 1, 2, and I do it with different leads. Even if you're a right tackle, it's good to work with a left lead as a left tackle as well. And so we would do that, and we'd work the line. Okay, we'd work the line and have some of these other stuff incorporate the other stuff. Was what Max guys were doing. They were working the line with the hand sensitivity. They were working the line with the center line training. Well, that's it in a nutshell. I know I threw a lot of stuff at you. If you guys have any questions or you want to know anything, let me know.
You talked a little bit about the plus of punching rather than grabbing and holding. When you train yourself initially.
Well, my whole thing was the punch is everything. You know, I learned that early in my career. I had success early in my career. I only held on run blocking. I never held on pass blocking, or very rarely. Only when I was losing a guy and I had to yank him down. But to me, in my height and size, if I grab a hold of a guy, I'm going for a ride. If I'm trying to dance with him, I'm going for a ride. And the thing that punching does is it puts me on the attack, okay? It puts me on the attack. And the only way that I'm going to punch effectively is if I punch over and over and over again. And what happens is, if you put your guys in a situation to win, like you do it over and over in individual, before you get to one-on-ones, because what happens is, when you go to one-on-ones, now you want to win, and you throw everything out the window. I want to win, all right, I want to win. And even a guy that's punched over and over and over again, if a guy knocks his hand, if I get beat early in pass rush in a game, sometimes I'm going, what'd I do wrong? Now I want to go back to that security blanket, that cloth. That's what I want to grab. So the more you rep it, especially in individual, before you get to the one-on-ones, and really this program is really not a band-aid. It's like you get out of it what you put into it. As a guy that did it, I did it for 10 off seasons. And that doesn't mean that you need to do it for 10 off seasons to pick it up. My last year in '93, I was with Green Bay, and Rich Moran picked it up in 2 weeks, just in training camp. You know, I worked a little bit after practice with him, and he loved it. He was snatching guys and drilling them, punching. Kenny Rutgers, who became a very good friend of mine, he was a guy that always wanted to cross-monitor. He always wanted to stick his hand and ride a guy and goes, Kenny, cut the other arm off. You're not using it. You know, and then Kenny started punching. He started picking up and feeling very, very comfortable with it. But it's something that you got to do over and over and over again. And one of the things that I would do is I would drill it in walkthrough, okay? I mean, I'm playing with the guys in walkthrough. I'm not trying to drill them, but I'm playing with it. I'm always thinking, okay, in between sets in the weight room, I'm drilling it. I always work on it. You know, you could do this on a heavy bag by yourself if you got nobody else to work with. I was always working on a heavy bag, working it, and just try to get into the mindset where you got to get to the point where you're afraid not to punch and realize that if I punch this guy, I'm going to wire him. And one thing about this is, if I can do this, anybody can do it. I mean, anybody can do it. You know, I don't care how. I mean, I'm a little bitty guy initially by this league standard, not athletic, not quick, but I can do it. If I can do it, your guys can do it. Anybody else? Yes.
How do you take on the outside swim technique if you don't extend your arms?
Well, it's still an extension. It's just not a. See, what happens is when you extend too much, you start hyperextending your elbows. Early in my career, when I was punching at 100% extension, I had a lot of elbows problems. I was getting a lot of cortisone shots in my elbows because of tendonitis and the bursitis of the body. When I get to this point right here, it's still the extension is more. It's more powerful. It's stronger, and it's still. I don't care what he's doing. Because you hit a guy in the chest when he's swimming. I tell you what, swim guys are cake for this program. I mean, swim guys, you start licking your chops. Guy swims, boom, because he comes out there like a popcorn fart. I mean, I'm not kidding. He's backflipping because he's off balance. You know. Same thing if you talk about a rip. A guy rips a good ripper. I'm always looking at that right hand. I'm gonna catch the rip. Doug, will you come up here again? I'm gonna catch the rip before I'm gonna punch the rip. All right, number one, if I miss the rip on the punch, then I'm going to trap the rip. If I miss the trap, then I'm going to kidney punch. Okay, so as he's throwing the rip, go ahead and throw the rip. Yeah, go ahead and throw it like you did. Go ahead and throw it like you did. I want to punch him right there, okay? Now stop the rip. Now say I'm slow. Now he's sitting, now the rip is coming. Go ahead, rip is coming. Now I want to trap it like that, okay? Now I'm coming across his forearm with my elbow, which is really smart, especially if I hit his forearm with my elbow. And then the third thing is now I missed all three. Now he's got that rip in and he's boring in on me. Okay, see the kidneys are exposed, and this is the most vulnerable area. Really, it's a beautiful thing. I'm telling you what, and this is a good thing to work heavy on a heavy bag, just doing open palm hooks on a heavy bag. Because now he's right here. I'm not going to just tense everything.